Welcome to our first broadcast for Spartan Sports. I'm your host, Salafata. With me today is Jamo Williams. Jamo, how you doing?
Doing really good, brother. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Good, good.
Our topic for today is a $2,000 scholarship that student athletes are now have available to them across the nation.
Okay.
So, Jamo, what are your thoughts about this scholarship?
Well, man, I thought last I heard, the scholarship pretty much took care of a lot of the business for the student athlete. So I really don't see a need for this extra $2,000. But I don't know. We'll see.
I'd have to agree with you probably. So let's bring in somebody that knows what they're talking about on this topic. We have with us today Jim Pignataro, who is the Associate Athletic Director for Student Services and Director of Student Athlete Support Services for Michigan State. Quite a mouthful. Jim, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you do here at Michigan State?
My main responsibility is to direct the Student Athlete Academic Center, an office called Student Athlete Sports Services on campus, and I also oversee strength and conditioning and athletic training / sports medicine for the athletics department. I've been here since 1996. I took over as director of the Smith Center in 2002, and prior to that I was at Florida State.
So as we mentioned, we're going to talk about the $2,000 scholarship today. Can you tell us exactly what the scholarship is, what it means, all that kind of stuff?
This is a very volatile subject, as you can imagine, and it's very new and fresh. This late summer, the presidents got together with the new NCAA president, Emmerich, and they came up with legislation. We're calling it actually the cost of attendance legislation. This is not really a $2,000 additional scholarship, it's additional aid. And what we're looking at is the cost differential right now between an athletic scholarship, full scholarship, and what an actual academic scholarship would be at Michigan State or any other institution. What you find nationally is that the cost of attendance would include everything from books to maybe any kind of health insurance to the actual tuition and fees. And what they have found nationally is there is a stark difference between a full ride or a full scholarship in athletics and what institutions actually give on their academic merit. And at Michigan State, the differential was around $1,700 or $1,800. At a place like Wisconsin, it's our understanding it's like $5,600. And so they came up with the presidents came together, my understanding is, came up with a $2,000 mark as a way of kind of coming up with some kind of average number of dollars that can be given to a student athlete who's on a full scholarship. The key component to this cost of attendance adjustment is that it's only for student athletes who are head count sports. And there's a big difference between a head count sport and an equivalency sport. A head count sport is something like football, where you have credits that you can take up to 15. You have a full complement of housing, room and board. You have your books paid for. That doesn't include any of your medical and all that. We cover that, but that's not really as part of your actual scholarship. So if I'm on the baseball team and I'm on a 70% scholarship, I am not eligible for this $2,000. So at Michigan State right now, as the rule is being defined, and it's not actually complete yet, they're still just working on the wording, but men's and women's basketball, volleyball, football, women's tennis, women's gymnastics, and hockey would be the only student athletes at this point that would be eligible for that additional cost of attendance adjustment of $2,000.
And this $2,000, first, I guess, where is it going to come from? Is it a general fund in the athletic department, or maybe possibly students' tuition? And what kind of form is that $2,000 going to be? Is it going to be in the pocket, or is it going to be dished out?
That's a very good question. As with all the costs within athletics, except for student tickets, we don't take a single penny from Michigan State student. We are a self-run organization from internally within the department. So there are no student dollars or state tax dollars that are appropriated to the athletics department. The money is actual cash, so it will be on top of the cash that you get. If you're a senior student athlete on a head count sport and you live up on Chandler Crossing, say, you would get a check for your room and board every semester. This will be additional on top of that, and that you can use at your disposal. You can buy a flat screen TV, you can send it home to mom and dad, you can send it home to a relative, you can buy more groceries, you can go to the movies with it. It's a cost of attendance adjustment for living expenses. We have not determined where that money is coming from. That's a conversation that the athletics director, Mark Hollis, is having with our executive team, and I'm sure the president will be involved as well. It's a very slippery slope when you start talking about where this money is coming from. Do you increase certain costs in certain areas? Do you take money away from other people that are getting it? Do you reduce summer school budgets that we have for student athletes to go to summer school? Money doesn't grow on trees and has to come from somewhere.
Very true. Very true.
If you add up everyone that is eligible, that's going to get it, how much money are we talking here?
We're talking $400,000.
$400,000.
Wow.
And we think anywhere between $650,000 and $850,000 roughly plus or minus maybe 100,000. If the NCAA comes up with a different interpretation, that other student athletes would be made aware of this aid. One of the issues that comes up is Title IX implications on how we disperse aid, particularly for men's and women's sports, and so we're trying to work through that right now as far as what that would mean.
But it's nice to know that the $400,000, I guess, could go to family members. I mean, or those struggling, right? Because I mean, if it is cash, then hypothetically they could give it to a family member that's struggling.
They have full autonomy to do what they want with that money legally.
That's kind of nice.
I'd say it's a very touchy subject that has a lot of elaboration to continue to go through.
No question.
It's definitely not an in the end. But
In its infancy, for sure.
yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. So for Spartan Sports, thanks, Jim, for coming in and talking to us today.
My pleasure.
I'm your host, Salafata, J-Mo.
J-Mo.
Talk to you guys later.
See ya.